This is Rob Dukes from Generation Kill, and I'm blowing it up with MetalgodZradiO. Metal Gods!
Oh, well. I mean, that's fine. I don't mind buying it. I don't mind paying for stuff.
Yeah.
It's probably a problem with the music industry right now is people not wanting to pay for things, right?
Yeah, that's a fucking huge deal. Oh, sorry. I can't curse, right? Yeah, that is a huge deal. An album costs, 2 cups of coffee, and people still don't want to buy it, you know?
Well, I think it's, it's sort of crossed over several generations now, this idea of not buying music. I've met young people that have never bought music. That consume lots of it. I've actually met people in bands, young people in bands that have never bought music. So
I've never stolen music. Do you know that? I've never stolen. I've always bought everything. I've bought everything. Even in the day of the heyday of, I did tape trading and stuff like that, and I definitely borrowed CDs and put them in my, and made a copy of it so I could listen to it. But that was the extent of it was a physical transaction. I've never pushed a button and downloaded stuff for free. I never did that. Yeah.
Wow, you're an old schooler in the dark ages.
Yes, I am.
We have Rob Dukes from Generation Kill on the phone today. How are you doing today, Mr. Rob Dukes?
I am good, sir. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. Are you in Arizona or in New York?
I am in Arizona today. Yeah.
And I'm calling from California, so we are dealing with the same climate issues, so to speak.
Yes. You guys have a lot more fires than we do. I mean, we get them occasionally, but usually it's the mountains or the desert that surround us, but we don't have to deal with the fires like you guys.
What about the water?
No, we're pretty good on water because we get our water. We don't get our water from where you get it. We get it from Flagstaff for the mountains like Saguaro Lake. We have our own reservoirs. I don't think we do use the Colorado anymore, but I could be wrong. But from what I understand, most of our comes from the mountains in Utah and northern Arizona bring us most of our water. Yeah.
How soon can we expect some Rob Dukes branded hot sauce, beer, or whiskey?
I'm not doing that. You know what I'm doing? I'm working on coffee, man, because I don't drink alcohol. I do use hot sauce, but there's so many out there. I don't really. I use Bumblefoot's hot sauce. That's like one of my favorites. But I've been working on a coffee thing because I really love coffee. I drink coffee no matter I drink coffee all day. I drink coffee at night. I also a huge connoisseur of like espresso. I spent the money and got a really nice espresso machine, and I only drink good coffee. I do not drink shit coffee. I'd rather have nothing than bad coffee. So I'm working on a coffee brand. That's what I'm doing.
Are you black or with cream and sugar?
So I used to drink it black my entire life. And then about 2 years ago, someone introduced me to one stevia and some heavy cream. And it changed my coffee drinking forever. I will no longer ever. I realized that life is too short to drink black coffee. That I wanted to taste good, but I wanted to taste the heavy cream makes it excellent. So you heat up or froth the heavy cream to about 100 degrees, and then you pour the coffee on top of it, and then you add one stevia or one raw sugar, and it just gives you a little bit of to cut through that bitterness, and it makes for an excellent cup of coffee. I've been called a kind of a puss because I put milk in my coffee, but I don't care. Like I said, life's too short to drink black coffee anymore. So.
Yeah, Europeans drink it sort of where it's mostly milk with a little bit of coffee.
That is true. What they usually do is they heat up milk or cream and they add a couple shots of espresso. And for some reason, I never did that. I always just drank it black for the longest time, my whole life. And then I just someone introduced me, and I just changed my whole coffee. The way I like it. I will drink a black cup of coffee if I don't have any cream or anything. I will drink it black because I'm okay with it. But I'd rather have cream and a little bit of sweetness in it. So
this is all very important things that people need to know, or at least
they are.
If there's one thing that we can all identify with is it's coffee consumption.
Yes, it's the number one drug on the planet. It's one of the highest commodities traded. It always has been. It's been from the beginning of time. They trade, coffee and tea were from the beginning. That was the biggest things that we traded all through Europe and through Africa, and it all started in South America. And when I wake up in the morning, it's the first thing I do. I feel like I know that I'm addicted to it, but I also know that it also it wakes my brain up. It wakes my brain up to start about. It helps me formulate my day. So I went to Seattle one time, and the owner of Stumptown Coffee gave me a tour of his factory, and I've been buying Stumptown Coffee ever since. Stumptown Coffee is probably the best coffee on the planet. There's a blend called the Hairbender, and it is without a doubt one of the best tasting coffees I've ever had. And I'm not even they don't give me money or free coffee or anything. I like them, so I talk about them from time to time. But it's an Ethiopian coffee, and it is absolutely just the best coffee on the planet. Another really good brand is the Cafe Bustelo. It's an Italian espresso, finely ground, and it's just an excellent coffee or espresso, however you want to drink it.
That's in the yellow can that you can buy in the stores,
mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah. So they make pods too. I don't use them too often, but I have from time to time when I'm running late. But the yellow can is it's actually harder to find. I think it's been I know that it's no longer in my grocery store that I use. I order it online and I have it shipped to my house because my grocery store that I use my house stopped carrying it. So and I also order Hairbender online, and I get a coffee shipment every month. So yeah.
What about French press?
I do use a French press from time to time, depending. That's a Sunday, kind of like a Sunday morning thing, because I tend to sleep in for like an extra hour or two, and then get up and I use a French press. But I normally weigh out the coffee to a specific and put it in a filter, but I run hot water over into a ceramic. It's almost like a ceramic. It looks like a basin, and you stick that on top of your coffee cup, and you slowly pour hot water around it. You let it build up for about a minute, and then you let it rest, and then you pour the coffee on top of that, and then I heat up I have a frother, and I heat up the milk, and then I combine the two into a coffee. I have a Yeti cup that keeps it hot for a really long time, so I can, not rush through it. No.
Have you talked coffee with people on your talk show?
No, not yet. I have not, man. I have not. No, I haven't. Yeah.
Something to think about.
It is something to think about.
What can you say about MKUtra as your latest record?
Oh man, it's what I have to say that I normally don't. So I don't read comments and stuff like that. I don't really pay attention to that because years ago I just realized that everybody has an opinion, and the internet gives. It used to be that that your opinion was formulated through experience, and you really needed to see the person one-on-one to get an opinion about something. Whereas the internet kind of made it to where everyone has one, regardless of their agenda, regardless of their background or what they do or how they, their education, their culture. So I don't, and because of that, I don't read comments. But my management sends me comments lately. They send them to me in an email, and they just say, "Hey, man, just so you know, man, there's no negative shit. We're not cutting things out. We're not deleting anything from any of our social media. Everything is really positive, and it's really good, man. I set up through my email for my podcast. I set up and I give it out freely, and people." I get, a bunch of emails every day, and people just telling me how much they dig it. And I'm really happy about that because, me and the boys, we put a lot of fucking work into it, man. It was a long effort. Between COVID and guys moving out of state and being separated and using email to write songs and only getting to rehearse once in a while. Due to travel restrictions and all that, the way we pulled this record off and to have it well received is really cool. I'm really proud of it. I think it's the best thing I've done in my career musically to this day. I'm glad I'm getting to sit with it, and I'm glad the fans are digging it.
At this point, what continues to drive forward as a singer in a band and keep going?
I guess, raising the bar on yourself, you know what I mean? I love doing music. I'd be doing it regardless if there was, music is a huge part of my existence. It always has been since I was a young kid. And, so to be able to be a part of the whole music community was like a dream come true because I don't know about everyone else, but when I was a kid, I dreamed about being on stage, and then I made that come true, through luck and work and being in the right place at the right time, and sacrifice, because you sacrifice a ton of things to be a musician, and through all that, I was lucky enough to live the life I've lived, and I want to just keep doing it. So like the longer I live, I want to just keep making music, and I want to keep trying to be better. So this is the bar now. So now I have to go above this bar. So now I gotta, we're gonna have to, the next record that we've already started thinking about it is like, what do we want to do? So we're gonna have to even take the best of what we've done now and try to rise above that. Which is a difficult thing to do when you give it all, you're like, fuck, man, I got nothing left in the tank to give. But, we're going to reach down and we're going to try to find something deeper,
Is there a theme to the new album, MKUtra, or is it more of a collection of songs?
Well, about halfway through the recording process, I read a book called Chaos by Tom O'Neill. And that changed the rest of the record. So there wasn't a theme from the beginning, but there became one later, like halfway through. So we started writing. I started writing the lyrics about conspiracy and but I also I wrote the song "Life of Sin" was like a short story that I wrote about a crazy chick who is a serial killer, which is a rare because serial killers are mostly men. And I wrote this short story about a female one who was super fucking hot, So that became the lyrics for that. And then it was more like the end of the world type stuff. Unfortunately, like when I listen to metal, I really pay attention to the darker elements of lyrics of content, and that's kind of where we kind of go. It's actually difficult for me to write something happy and cheerful and hopeful. It really is. It's easier to focus on the negative and the darker side for some reason.
It appears that you have two brothers in the band now. How did that come about? How did that come about, and how far are they apart in age?
I think they're 2 years apart. You know, we parted ways with our former bass player, and then Max was playing in a band called Undivided, like a hardcore band in New York, and he's a brilliant bass player and a really good dude. We'd done shows with them, and I'd known Max for years, but you know, I've known Jason for 20 plus years, and then so when we needed a bass player, I said, "Dude, call your brother." And he was the first and only call. So it was just kind of worked out, and he's an integral part of this band. I mean, he's a killer songwriter and composer, and he's also really good at the pre-production stuff and helping us get ideas on basically put them on tape so we can listen to them and work through them, and then take multiple ideas and mix them together, and so. He's been pretty awesome. And, Jason's just Jason, man. He's a fucking brilliant songwriter. I mean, everybody, man. I mean, Rob Yule's a great drummer, and Trenzer's a fucking brilliant guitar player. And I think everyone just, has really stepped up and become, professional musicians, and no longer a garage band. We stepped into it, we were just guys hanging out, having fun in 2008, and now we're a professional band and putting out records and doing all the things necessary to be a successful musician. So,
for many, you are their favorite Exodus singer. Who is your favorite Exodus singer?
Well, I have to say Baloff, only because he did one record twice, and Baloff was, he, talking to his friends and knowing the band like I know them. I mean, Tom and Gary were there from the very beginning, and Baloff basically idolized Paul Di'Anno, who had a little bit of punk rock going on in the beginning on the first two Iron Maiden records. He could sing, but he was also had a little bit of punk and gnarliness to him. And Paul was emulating Paul. You know what I mean? He was trying to be Paul Di'Anno, but his skill set was basically what he had. He was making it up as he was going along, and I find something really fucking just romantically brilliant about that, of just going in without having a plan. I don't know what I'm going to do, and then making this thing that turned out to be a really great piece of music that will live with us forever. And Bonded by Blood is one of the best records of all time in the metal world. And so, I'm going to go with Paul's my favorite Exodus singer.
How likely is it that Generation Kill would do an all Exodus set or a whole Exodus album set? And what album would it be?
Well, we've never played an Exodus song, ever. We play only Generation Kill music, so that's probably never going to happen. But if I did play a song, it would be No Love. I would either No Love or Deliver Us to Evil. Those two songs are my two favorite Exodus songs. So if we were going to pull something out, it'd be one of those two. So, Generation Kill playing Exodus music, that doesn't work. You know what I mean? It was part of my life, but Generation Kill has its own deal. So. Metal, metal, metal.